Mouthpiece. Ow! Stop playing, baby. Brooklyn.
Been a long time coming, yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm
We
here.
about to run the city up. Good people, they can't get enough.
Tap in with me.
Cause we steady on that real shit. No BS,
Beautiful.
no bullshit. Mouthpieces, yeah.
Ow. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mouthpiece. It's your girl, Beautiful. And I have two special guests with me today, Cevin and Melissa. These two right here, their story really inspired me, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. So let's get straight into it. So guys, we have Cevin here. Let's just get right into it.
My name is Cevin, 36 years old from Brooklyn, New York. So right now I got a few things going on. I'm a man of many talents. My main job, I'm a quality insurance inspector. I work for the federal government. My side hustle that I plan on making my main hustle right now is HVAC. On top of that, I like creating content. I like being silly. In reality, I really just like being myself. I'm also a middle school basketball coach. See, I got so many things. I'll be forgetting what I do sometimes.
Okay.
So the main things that I'm doing right now is my main job, quality assurance, the basketball coaching, and the HVAC.
Okay, so let everybody know, you said you do coaching. How did you get into that?
So the coaching actually is that's something I have been wanting to do. I would actually, if be lying if I say my passion for it didn't really start a kid growing up. I just was watching guys playing basketball. I was kind of a short kid, so I would try out for basketball teams, and coaches would like how hard I played, so they'd like to keep me around. Just for like practices and things of that nature, but sometimes the stature wouldn't let me make the team. So I guess I kind of just fell into just having to enjoy the game sometimes, knowing I won't be able to play it all the time. I think my church has a basketball team, so that was like my first instance in which I started to coach, but I ended up having to play also, so I just gave up the coaching because I didn't want to do both. But when I moved to Virginia, I told myself I wanted to be more a part of the community, and basketball was the way I want to do it. I know a lot of young black boys love to play basketball. Reality is, young black boys don't care about the statistics. They don't care about the numbers that they say are gonna make it. They understand what those numbers are. They're using basketball more of as an outlet, and I think it's important that they have somebody that grew up. You know, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and
Brooklyn.
I would say, some would say I was outside, but I was outside. I wasn't like a menace, but I was understanding of what was going on around me in the hood.
Adapt into your environment.
Yeah, I seen all the pitfalls. I may have fallen for a few in my time. I've seen a lot of friends not make it to my age. I know kids that don't make it to 18. So the basketball coaching, that's why that's important, because they need to see that it's okay to like be what they would call now boring or regular. Like, yeah, like I stay home, I take care of my family, I make sure everybody good, and that's cool. But like, they also get to see how much that passion for coaching is. So when they seeing it, I'm not just coaching them on basketball, I'm coaching them on life lessons. I'm not just coaching them on basketball, I'm coaching them on life lessons.
So you say you were outside somewhat or whatever, so I'm about to touch on to that. What do you mean by that? You was outside a lot.
Okay, so I think there's a notion today that if you grew up in the hood and you weren't a part of any like illegal things going on, or maybe some violence or gang activity and stuff going on, they would call you like that you was just on the porch, right? But the reality of it is that these guys who didn't fall for those pitfalls in the hood, they didn't just stay on the porch. How about they were just making better decisions, right? So that needs to be highlighted, right? That doesn't mean that they're oblivious to what's going on around them. Like, somebody who's not active in any gang or any violence or anything that's going on in the hood can easily get robbed. Matter of fact, that's who they end up robbing the most, the people who ain't even a part of that life. So to totally dismiss the citizens that are, just the normal citizens, as they call us, that are outside, that that's a little naive. And I know I went to Wingate High School, Crip heavy, very easy to fall into those pitfalls, and even if you don't fall into those pitfalls, sometimes you just become a part of those communities just because you're around. And like, for somebody like me, like, I'm cool with everybody, so like I ain't never alleviate nobody, I ain't never made nobody feel like I was better than. So, sometimes you kind of just fall into those and they think you're a part of that. So you get caught up in that lifestyle and thinking that's how you got to be. But sometimes it's actually okay to like have a mind of your own. It's actually okay to like have a mind of your own. Now, I'm not completely dismissing those things. I'm not saying like there might be some gang members where the gang actually kept them alive. You know what I'm saying? Maybe their home situation was it. So I'm not sitting here saying that it's all negative. I understand that there's a positive and a negative side to anything that we doing out here. So to completely act like it's negative, it's not. I know active gang members are really doing their thing. They support the community. They take care of the young kids. They still hold the morals that some of these street guys say they supposed to hold. But you're not gonna hear about them because they giving out their game all the time. It's so normal to them. The people that they giving it out to is so used to it. But now it's like it's not normal to have somebody step up and actually like want to be an OG. A lot of people, my generation and my peers, they talk about this next generation. Well, we got to take on some of that burden and some of that blame for the way they are because we still on social media playing around anyway.
Right.
We still on social media playing around anyway.
Right.
So, there has to be a point where we're stepping up to the plate and wanting to be an OG.
Right. And actually make a difference.
And actually wanting to make it in the community and wanting
Right.
to make a difference because that's where it starts at. I mean, I'm not against voting or politicians or things of that nature, but there's only so much that they can do. Your block, like if you hold some status on your block for real, you could really keep a lot of people out of trouble. You could give a lot of people, help a lot of people out. So I think it's important that my peers, the OGs, we OGs now.
Right.
It's really time that we step up and like take on those positions of power and like be able to say, nah, young fella, that ain't what it is.
That
You
ain't
ain't
the
even
way.
gotta go do that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? There's so many ways to make money out here if that's what you into. There's just
Right.
too many ways.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I feel like sometimes the younger generation really got a leg up on us because I feel like they put action to what they saying. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of action. So it's a lot of people younger than me with businesses and doing a lot of stuff out here. So I don't think it's not completely lost, but I would love to see like the shift change to where it's more people giving out that game and more people taking heed to the game.
Right. That was super dope, and you did hit a lot of points, and I definitely agree that in our community, being that we're from where we're from, we are forced to, react to our environment, and definitely relate to that because I went to Millwood High School also, and, I was outside a lot, and so my brothers was outside a lot as well, so I definitely understand what you mean by, like, having the OGs now step up and take heed to what they're saying. Like, growing up, we were forced to, like, again, do things that we weren't supposed to be doing outside. So, Kevin, you did say that you worked for the government?
Yeah. So, hindsight, I joined the military in December in 2008.
Thank you for your services.
No problem. So I was in the Air Force. I did the Air Force 6.5 years, and then I got out and I just slid right into a federal government job. Blessing in disguise, because I guess at the time I had just had my first child while I was in the military, and he was 2 months old, and they were like, I got to get deployed. So coming back from that deployment and seeing my son, I left when he was 2 months, and I came back and he was 8 months. So if anybody who has kids, like 2 and 8 months, it's a completely different look. So I didn't know what I was looking at. So it was like a moment in my life where I really had to like make a decision on what kind of father I wanted to be. So I didn't want to let the military kind of dictate my time with my family. I know that the job is going to take away some time from the family, but that's a choice that we make sometimes, and that we choose to give up
Sacrifices
that time,
and stuff like
that
that.
we think that we have to make. And it was a big leap at the time, getting out of the military so early, because people are just expecting you to just do your 20 years and getting out. But I got my one of my real best friends named Ant. Shout out to my man Ant. His father was working for a company, and kind of got wind that I was getting out the military and was just like, yo, would you like a federal job? At first I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know, because it was gonna be, I didn't know. I really didn't know what the next step was for me, and he gave me the opportunity, and I kind of just ran with it. And I was up in New York from 2015. We moved back to New York from Florida, and I started with them, and then here we are. We still here today. We still going strong. I think I'm at 13 years now. 13 years in, so it's been a real blessing. It's definitely blessed me. It's been like the stepping stone that's gotten me to where I'm at now, and so without that opportunity, I don't even think I wouldn't be here at all. So.
That is super dope. And now we have the wife, Melissa. Introduce yourself to everyone. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you got going on and what you do.
My name is Melissa. I have my own brand called My Melanin Fits that I operate from home as a stay-at-home mom. I've been doing this since 2018. This is not my first business. My first business I started in 2012 was a wedding business. But I started the t-shirt business because I needed something more steady that wasn't just seasonal. And like the wedding business, it was good money, but it was highly stressful. With 2 kids and you're dealing with emotional brides. So I said, nah. So let me find something easier that comes easier to me that I know I can appeal to way more people easy. So being from Brooklyn, like that's how I express myself. Graphic tees, how I dress, fashion and all that. I went to school for fashion merchandising at Kingsborough Community College.
Dope.
So
shout out to Kingsborough.
So, you know, like putting in a part of like my passion, which is fashion, in addition to what I went to school for, it kind of made this business like easy to operate.
You said that you had 2 children, right?
Yes.
So how do you manage being a mommy with, you know, the businesses?
It's a lot, which is why, like, I've been on a break from my business for the last year. Because I told myself, like, first of all, kids are going to be brats. They demand so much of your time that even when you feel like you're trying to give more attention to them, they're going to guilt trip you. So my kids, they used to say, Mommy, why you don't spend more time with me? So that's why I said, you know what, let me take a pause, because the point of having the business was to be able to be available to them. And like a business, once it blows, it takes all of your time. So I realized I was dedicating a lot of that time to the business. So I said, you know what, let me take a pause. We can afford to take a pause, so let me do that and tend to my kids so I can, you know, attend basketball games if necessary. I could do their extracurricular activities. So that's how you gotta make time for what you need to make time for.
Balance, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say again, thank you for your services. And girl, you doing your thing to be a mommy of 2, doing businesses like that. Big mountains, big mountains. So tell us, how did you guys meet? Tell us the tea.
He slid in my DMs on MySpace. We met back in 2000, what was this, 08? At Kingsborough, of course. So this
Shout out to
happened,
Kingsborough again,
right?
yo, like doing y'all thing.
So he just happened to know his best friend was somebody I knew from middle school that, you know, helped with the introduction and all of that. But it just so happened that when we met, he was leaving for the military in 3 months maybe? Yeah. So like that connection I reformed in those first 3 months was enough for me to like wait for him to get out of basic training and all of that and still want to see him afterwards. So
how did you guys get married?
Which time? Because we got married twice technically. So okay, so
both.
in 2010 we got we've been married for 13 years
yes,
now. We got married January 15, 2010. We had no family at that event.
Yes.
No family. We didn't even tell anybody we was getting married. The people that the people that we had there were people I just met in the military. They were my coworkers that they were with us. There was a point in our marriage where I looked back at that and I was upset that was it. But like as we've grown into our marriage, that let me know like the way that we did it. Like
that's what mattered.
It was real. I can't. I gotta cut it. It was real because it's too much fakeness out here. That was some real shit. No, for real. We curse over here. That's some real shit. I love it.
Because we really and I think I'm gonna say, and then we renewed our vows in 2018.
Yeah, like 8 years later.
8 years later, we renewed our vows. We told everybody, and I think her mom found out that year.
Yeah, because my mother
she didn't
found
know
out in 2000, probably the year before. So 2017, she found out we were married.
That we was actually married.
Ooh.
Well, it was too late at that point.
What had happened was the first time I had tried to move to Florida, she told me don't come back married. So we was already planning that. So I said, "Oop, I can't tell her." So I didn't tell her.
All right. So with all of that, how did you guys get to balance now? Being together, married, everybody knowing, yay, and where you guys are at right now with the businesses and stuff.
So we used to talk about balance a lot. I would say like 2 years ago, we used to talk about how important it was to have balance. I think we really honed into it, but I think as we've grown out of this trying to have balance phase, and we're just doing what's necessary. Exactly. Some days, like, she ain't gonna have it. Some days I gotta pick up the slack. Some days I'm not gonna have it, and she gotta pick up the slack. Like, when I'm out working and, like, I'm doing my side hustles, like, she's home. Like, nobody's not working.
Right.
So, like, and we see that in each other. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like, and, like, we hold each other accountable, too. We be like, you said you was gonna do it. So, it's not like we not holding each other accountable. It's important to continually inspire each other. and continually inspire each other, right? So like my wife is the one who got me into even like wanting to do business, because just watching her. It sounds so simple, but I wake up at 6:30 in the morning. I'm up earlier than that, but I got to get on my work computer at 6:30 in the morning, send an attendance email to let them know that I'm like logged in. Now, big facts, I could be lying, I could just be laying in my bed, but the thing is, waking up at 6:30 to send that email, and I would and I would roll over, and like my wife would still be sleeping, and then at 9:00,
getting her beauty sleep on.
And then at 9:00, she's just now like waking up for the day and like asking what's for breakfast, and I'm ready for lunch at that point because I don't woke up so early. So I think like trying to understanding that like I understand that like Melissa's human, so like she's not just my wife. She has so many titles. Like I would be putting her in a box to just say she's just my wife, right? And like I would feel put in a box if she says, oh, like he's just my husband. Like I'm so much more than that, and she's so much more than just she's a mom, she's a wife, she's a daughter. Like she still got other relationships to maintain. Like this marriage is absolutely the most important one. But this marriage, those other relationships also fuel this marriage within itself. So I think it's I know it's been made a lot. This all sounds simple, and I know it sounds simple. And like the advice you're gonna get on marriage and working together is going to be simple, cliche, all of that. But the work is not any of that stuff. The work is not easy. Like you aren't happy all the time. You are having to find other ways to like pick yourself up in your marriage. You're constantly having to ask yourself, how can I be a better husband? That's something like I know a lot of men, they're not gonna admit it, but they struggle with that, like saying that to themselves, like really putting the discipline in to stay committed. Like what does that even look like? And I think a lot of dudes are afraid to see what they look like super committed. They're afraid of looking like a simp. Right, looking like whatever it is, and like the definition of a simp isn't like a man that's married to like take not even
is loyal,
not even just loyal, because they
doing what he's supposed to be
doing what I'm supposed to be doing as a husband and as a father. No, it's like that's not easy work. Like that's just as hard as work. And I think a lot of dudes, they kind of try to end up running from it and trying to get a ways and around it, and then in all honesty, they're not really honest in what coming to the table, but what they actually want, and that's on both sides. I tell my wife all the time. I know, like online, it's like a battle of the sexes thing, but people gotta accept that it just gets fucked up people. Period. There ain't no like men more fucked up, women more fucked. Like there's fucked up people
equally.
Equal, like it is equally. We watch it every day, and like I know people get online and like I don't know. Sometimes I would feel weird posting something I know that's absolutely not true. Like people say like black marriages are not lasting. That's an absolute cap. Like I would feel weird posting something I know that's absolutely not true. Like people say like black marriages are not lasting. That's an absolute cap. My grandmother and my grandfather just celebrated 49 years of marriage. Me and my wife, we on 13 years of marriage. I still got friends getting married till this day. So it's not like maybe it's just my view. But if that's my view, well then that means I made a decision to keep that kind of energy around me. I always knew I wanted to get married. I always knew I wanted to have kids. So like I knew that's the kind of energy I'm gonna exude, so that the person's not even confused about what's going on here. Like I want to make the person think about whether they want to go forward with this or not. So you know what I'm saying? So that's like Mel will tell you, I gave all of that. I was like, yo, that's just what I'm looking. You know what I'm saying? I'm just honest about it, and I'm not trying to be anything else that I'm not. So I think putting on all these hats as a human being, I think people get lost in the human part of it. They think like somebody's just a mom, somebody's just a wife, somebody's just an entrepreneur. Like you're never just gonna be just one thing. You're gonna be a collective of everything that you experience in life. So I think more people need to like take heed to that and be open to that, because when you're open to that, you're open to more learning, and when you're open to learn, you're gonna grow, because you're just gonna continue to learn, you're gonna continue to get knowledge, and people are gonna actually want to talk to you. So I think those are the things that are more important than just balance. Like balance is a part of the equation. Sometimes the balance ain't gonna be there, and you just gotta figure it out. And I think that's where the closeness comes in, is that like you go through rough patches and you figure it out and you come out on the other side. I know the thing is to go through a rough patch and say, nah, I ain't going through that day. But like we didn't do. I'd be lying if I sat here. Like our first 2 years of marriage was crazy. So like we really had to like fight to stay together. So but we both wanted that though. So it's like when both people wanted and they both putting up the same level of effort, like
a two-way street.
You ain't got it's a two-way street. Well then you start looking at things a little different. Like I don't just have to hold up this end of the bargain.
And that's where the balance is.
And that's where the balance is like, understanding that like, yo, you not gonna have it all the time. You gonna mess up. You like, I know to my wife that my level of hugs and kisses and things that's over
Yes,
the
men
years.
still love on their
That's
significant other.
Right.
Big facts.
And it's changed over the year and it looks different. But I have to like, we're constantly having to adapt to how each other's changing. Like, and maybe she don't want to hug in the morning no more. Maybe she wants you to wait till the afternoon. So, but that's cool though. It's not the hug is still there, the love is still there. That's what I feel never changes. Like the love is not gonna change because we're forever letting each other grow as individuals.
That's the thing, letting each other grow. Exactly. I love that. Letting each other individually be yourselves still, because you guys are still together doesn't mean that your lives stop. You guys are still yourselves. I love that. So that was so super dope. I definitely appreciate you guys' truth. I appreciate you guys' time. Is there anything else you guys would like to leave off?
Well, my website is www.mymelaninfits.com. www.mymelaninfits.com. All social media is mymelaninfits at mymelaninfits.
I will link all the websites and things in my bio. And I love you guys. Thanks for coming. You guys heard it first. Bye.
So you know what to do.
Stop playing with me.
Like, share, subscribe.
Tap in with me. Like, share, subscribe.